Day 3 of culinary school. Today we focused on stocks and sauces, and my assigned sauce was the Espagnol sauce. So I started out by creating my mirepoix, which is made up of 50% onions, 25% carrots, and 25% celery. So I started out by dicing my onions, and then I started to prepare my celery, and I started dicing that as well. Next, I started peeling off the outside skin of my carrot. I cut it in half, and then I started squaring off each end of the carrot. After I did that, I started slicing it lengthwise, and then I stacked them on top of each other, and I started dicing them. After that, I started preparing my herb sachet. So that was me crushing the black peppercorns with the edge of my knife. I put in some parsley stems and then a quarter of a bay leaf. I also added 1/8 teaspoon of dried thyme. After that, I made sure to close the cheesecloth really tightly because you don't want the contents of the cheesecloth to get into the sauce or stock that you're making. I then tied a string around the sachet because it's going to hang from the handle of the pot into the sauce, and you want it long enough to be able to get into the sauce. Next, I started melting some clarified butter, and I started preparing my water that I'm gonna be boiling my beef base in. And I had to be really exact with that, so that's why I was pouring out some of the water. After that, we started having some technical difficulties with the stove, so Chef had to light the stove the old-fashioned way with some paper. And after that was fixed, I started sauteing my mirepoix to get that caramelized a little bit. That looks so good. Once my water started boiling, I poured 1 tablespoon of beef base in there. And then after that, I added in 1/4 cup of flour to start creating my brown roux. And once everything was caramelized and good, I poured in the beef base mixture into the roux. And then I started whisking it to get it to the required consistency and thickness that I wanted to have. And at this point, I added in my herb sachet to give the sauce the flavor that it needs. At this point, the sauce was reduced enough, so I just seasoned it with some salt and white pepper, and then I mixed that in, and then I shared it out into the bowl that we were going to use to taste test, and that was mine. It looks so good. And then here is Chef. He was tasting it, and then everyone tasted it as well. He said that the flavors were really good. It tasted really good, but the critique that he gave me, he said it was a little bit salty, so I know to change that for next time. And that's all we did for today.